my time doing YouTube, you guys have always suggested me games in the comments to try, so to give back to you, today I will be playing and honestly reviewing all sorts of Roblox games suggested by my viewers. Blocktails. If you remember the disaster that was the classic event Roblox had hosted, there was one common flaw, and that was the game selection for the classic event. And there was one comment that got over 1,000 likes that mentioned Blocktails, so I knew from there that I just had to try it. A game inspired by games such as Paper Mario, Earthbound, with the theme of being classic Roblox portrayed as a good old turn-based RPG game. To start the game, you're woken up by the main recurring side character, Tutorial Terry, but if you try to fight him at the beginning of the game, just expect death. For now, there are only 2 chapters in the game, but each one is developed extremely well and quite fast so far. The one thing I quickly realized at the beginning of my journey of this game is that it is completely free to play. You could donate Robux to the developers, which is what I decided to do. The combat is very similar to that of Paper Mario, where when you attack, unlike most turn-based games, you actually have to time your attacks on time to do the maximum amount of damage. And this keeps the combat constantly engaging throughout your time playing as the battles get harder. Another thing that this game absolutely nails is the music. Just listen to this. You can also even play with friends or just straight up have someone randomly join you through your adventure. You are also told to go through the caves up until you reach a town called Road Town, where you talk to the mayor and he sends you to travel to Black Rock Mountain. You find out that you must get to the castle in order to receive the first sword you must gather through your journey. But while you are exploring this castle, the hardest fight in the game is this random sentient statue, and he has a move that's very fast and therefore difficult to block or dodge, and that makes for a tough fight. Luckily, I did it first try because I'm just that guy. Speaking of the final boss, you are ready to fight the Cruel King for the Ice Dagger Blade, the first of many swords you must wield. Now this fight was pretty easy, but he did almost kill me. You know, he left me at 1 HP, but all I had to do was remember that I had a bomb item in my pocket and ended up being able to win with that item as my trump card. The king then had this very dramatic anime moment, and we beat chapter 1 in a very poetic way. Demo 2, aka chapter 2, has also been released, and it is just as good, if not better, than chapter 1. Chapter 2 literally starts off with you hijacking a plane and going to a town called Terrapolis. You arrive at Terrapolis and the mayor of the town immediately gets kidnapped by his own son. The cutscenes in this game are in like this super cool stop motion animation style, and it's very unique. You get the keys to the Jeep, and in order to chase them down, you have to do this little mini game, which was fun. Then you are introduced to the rainforest, probably the hardest area in the game besides the final area in chapter 2, because every enemy in this biome can apply poison to your character, and it seems like with just one misdodge or block, you could be on your way to death. You eventually get to the first fight with the Griefer, where he confirms that the mayor is the only person who can pull the sword from the tree in this area, so that's why he kidnapped him. The first fight with the Griefer was actually pretty easy. After getting the iron sword, you must now make the trek up the tree to save the mayor and get the blade known as the Venom Shank. While climbing up the tree, you are also met with some difficult battles until you get all the way up to the final boss of the chapter, which is actually split between 2 parts. The boss fights are one where you're fighting the Griefer who wields the Venom Shank, which was a pretty easy like part of the boss fight, and then the second phase of the boss fight is him being literally infused with the blade after he stabs himself with it, and this fight was quite difficult. I died about 2 times.
Bro, you're
before I was finally able to actually beat him. Let's go! I had to lock in for that one though. The mayor then has a touching moment with his son before he finally gives you the Venom Shank, and you finally have beaten chapter 2. Overall, Blocktails is a modern masterpiece on the Roblox platform, so this game gets a 5 out of 5 stars from me. A true nostalgic adventure, and I cannot wait for chapter 3. It's gonna go crazy. Next suggested game is another game that should have been in the classic event under the name Combat Initiation, a game inspired by the likes of Ultra Kill, a game that almost gave me epilepsy just looking at gameplay of it. The game is extremely fun but also challenging, which is what I would eventually find out as I kept playing. Yeah, I'm done. Essentially, in combat initiation, you are tasked with picking 2 weapons and going through waves and waves of enemies until you unlock new weapons or items that buff you passively. This is a repeated process of fighting different enemies over and over until you get to the final part of a level where you fight a challenging boss. Trying to do this while playing with someone with the IQ of negative 2000 definitely wasn't the best idea. I 100% recommend playing this with a group of friends to have the maximum amount of fun and chance to even reach the final levels of this game. This was a struggle. Being able to clutch up after my teammate dies repeatedly definitely gave me a rush of adrenaline though. Oh, we're doing good damage. No! I'm clutching this out. Let's go! Come on! The way some of the weapons work are also really cool. Like the sword is a necessary weapon to use because you can parry projectile attacks from enemies, which is a very important part of defeating some of these encounters. Of course, you can upgrade these weapons to make them stronger and have different abilities, but some weapons have trade-offs after upgrading them as well, like the ball turning into a cannonball, which makes it slower to throw and heavier. But all in all, my short experience with combat initiation was fantastic and I had a lot of fun, and I'll have to rate this game here a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next is Item Asylum, which surprisingly is one of my most requested games throughout my time on YouTube, and I was always wondering, what is Item Asylum? It is a meme randomizer game that has about 7,000 players daily, which is insane, and instead of telling you about this game, I'll just show you. Is that Morgana from Persona 5? Oh my... I don't even know. Why did y'all suggest me this game? I'm guts. This weapon kinda sucks though. Oh no, it doesn't. Bink, bink. No, it doesn't. Okay, now I see why. It's kind of fun.
Meanwhile,
why is this necessary? I feel like I'm going insane. The game did accomplish one thing though, and that's giving me a raging headache. So realistically and objectively, the game is like a 0.5 star game. Now, a lot of people have also suggested that I review Project Smash, and although I have tons of experience with this game and I've talked about it before, I do want to give an updated take. Project Smash right now is not really a game that's being handled well from update to update anymore, and it shows in the player count. The game used to be a lot more balanced and actually catered to players that didn't really want to spend Robux by making the characters inexpensive. But as each update kept adding characters, it became more obvious that not only was the game becoming more imbalanced, but the characters themselves were super expensive, and if you didn't want to spend Robux, you would have to play for literal hours to grind enough money to get a new character, which is just not viable anymore when you get to high levels and the grind becomes insane and you kind of just want to play with the new character. Still doesn't take away from the fact that the game is still mechanically one of the most fun games of Roblox to just mess around and not take seriously, but my updated rating of this game would have to be a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I still enjoy it, but can't look past its flaws anymore. Well, I know you've heard of Project Smash, but what about Project Remix? Someone suggested this game to me saying that it was underrated, and after playing, this game has quickly become my sleeper hit of the year. Because basically in this game, you have a few different ways you can make your build in order to separate yourself from the rest. You have all different types of weapons. You also have perks that give you a multitude of effects, both positive and negative, that can affect your build majorly. Then you have your 2 ability slots that can either have a move that does damage or heals you, or that is a utility type thing. And man, there is just so many ways you can use this build system. At first I was pretty bad at this game and dying like repeatedly, and it was getting quite annoying, but once I found the right build I wanted to go with and a weapon that I could stick with, I actually started to get the hang of the game, and it was racking up kills, and I fell absolutely in love with this game. But it's good dumb fun and with a bit of style too. Even has so many different game modes you can play as well, and I am pleasantly surprised to see that this game only has about 300 players daily. I'll have to give Project Remix a 4 out of 5 stars. Now on to some anime styled games, kind of. Starting with Untitled Boxing Game. Untitled Boxing Game is exactly what the name suggests, a simple anime boxing game with some gacha elements, and to my surprise, the gacha actually isn't that bad in the game. Now the rates are a little sus for sure, but they give out tons of codes every update, and to be honest, the gacha is nowhere near as bad as something like Fruit Battlegrounds or any of these tower defense games nowadays. You can even do perfectly fine with a lower rarity style as well. For example, styles like Wolf give you the ability to double up on your M2s and really deplete deplete your opponent's block bar and opens them up for massive damage, which could be good against any style. Usually though, the legendaries in this game have some sort of special thing that no other fighting ability in the game actually has. Freedom is the legendary I had, where it basically gave me 3 different styles and each had a downside. The game is just about outsmarting your opponent by dodging their punches and managing your block bar while depleting theirs. The ultimate attacks also have me hyped though because they are really well animated.
Let's go.
And for the Yakuza reference, I gotta give this game a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's fun for sure, but nothing too crazy and can get quite boring after a while. Next anime game that's been getting suggested to me is Aot Revolution. Now this game has been getting touted as the best Roblox Attack on Titan game, as if that really means anything, since most AOT games on Roblox follow the same formula: kill Titans, level up gear, spin for a 0.5% chance to be Eren Yeager or Levi Ackerman. This game, Aot Revolution, only serves to amplify that stereotype, as it is everything we've already seen in most AOT games or in other anime games on the platform. But if this is your first experience of an AOT game, I can see why you may really like this game. The general concept of Aot Revolution is to kill 18 or so Titans on a few different maps and then upgrade your gear and maybe buy a cosmetic or 2 from the marketplace. This game is a Titan beater and is very unapologetic about it. I mean, to get Titan shifting, you literally need a serum that is a less than 1% drop, of course. Now, they did add raids in the game, but those are really the same thing here, except you're defending a Titan or an objective. To their credit, however, what can you really do differently with an AOT game? Well, that's what I would say if we didn't already have Titan Warfare and AOT Freedom War, because those games showed that it is possible. Titan Warfare being a Battlefield style multiplayer AOT game that was a lot of fun to play, and AOT Freedom War being this campaign objective driven AOT game where you basically play out the different arcs from the anime, but in a game format, of course. And for that matter, I really have to say I was quite disappointed and just really bored with this game, and I'll have to give it an honest rating of like 2.5 stars out of 5. It's alright, like it has really good graphics, and the ODM mechanics are probably some of the best on Roblox, but a lot of this game I've already played before. Stars Align was a game I recently saw that I want to give tons of credit to for actually being one of the most quality games to release on Roblox in 2024. So basically, Stars Align is this beautifully designed platformer inspired by, of course, Super Mario 64. Obviously the best 3D platformer game of all time. It's a very short demo right now, of course, with only a few stages varying in difficulty, but what I can say is that the atmosphere and design of each one of these levels of this game look very visually appealing. It just gives you that nostalgic feeling almost. The music is also amazing and matches each stage very nicely, but yeah, the main goal is to basically get to the end of these stages to get a star, and around the map there's these little collectible things that you can also get for the fun of it, I guess. But right now, depending on how fast you can complete the game, it only takes about an hour of your time, so I definitely recommend anyone giving this game a chance if you're bored. But this game did cause me to rage a little bit. Like, look at that. Like, why is this going on? I rate Stars Align a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Poetically, a game based on the stars is the last game in this video of me reviewing some of the games you guys have been suggesting to me. But if you guys do want to see a part 2, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment me some more games, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.